Welcome to The Lock Shop with Nielson and Hustler, powered by Coolbet Canada.
What is up, Lock Shoppers? Happy New Year and welcome to the program. First time in 2025. We're firing it up. And I just about referred to 2025 as 2024. Writing any checks today? Make sure you make that happen. JBM, what is up? How are you, my friend?
Doing well, Huss. Happy to ring in the new year with some more picks. We do actually get, not that it was lucky because, some pretty crazy stuff went on yesterday that canceled the one college football playoff game, but we are going to get some college football playoff today with Georgia and Notre Dame. So we can touch on that. That'll be at 4 o'clock. We have some World Juniors going on. So we're ringing in the new year the right way. A ton of NHL on tonight as well. Your Jets in action, my Leafs. So I'm sure we more than enough to talk about before we get into the Friday Week 18 NFL episode.
Yeah, well, we're going to have to touch on this World Junior as well. I did say I kind of thought the States were going to win on New Year's Eve, and that did happen. Unfortunately, but now is when it counts, and Canada's going to play Czechia. We'll go through those odds in a minute. We did, however, finish 2024 on a very nice winning note. We called it. It happened. The final partner parlay of the year comes through for us, and it was sort of a funny thing. I think we were pretty confident the Oilers were going to win. Nashville battled back to tie it up. The Wild ended up taking care of that one, and then it came down to the Jets Avalanche over 6.5. This was a very tight game, and the Jets, to be honest, they played pretty well considering they were in Winnipeg the night before, playing a real tough team who'd been sitting back at home, rested and waiting. They had two really bad breaks go against them that just sort of happened over the course of 82 games that ended up in goals. But credit to Scott Arniel, going for the win, pulling the goalie, and two empty netters in the final minute took our total over 6.5 for a win. So hopefully for those of us here in the PEG, hopefully the Jets can get on to a winning start to 2025 tonight against the Ducks. But it was nice to put a bow on 2024 with a win in the Lock Shop. We may as well touch on the juniors right off the bat. I know you watched the game. Anyone that spent any time on social media lately has seen a lot of heat for, not necessarily the team per se, but certainly the folks that picked the team with all the guys that are not in the mix. This kind of seems like I don't want to say an uninspired Canada team because they sure do well pushing and scrumming after whistles. But, Jake, this is a big mess, and it's on the verge of getting worse if they can't win as a big favorite today, although I'm not really sure they should be against the Czechs. And you were telling me before we went on, weird stuff happening around this team right now. Ever since the loss to Latvia, really.
Yeah, it's hard to explain what's going on with Canada right now. And it's not like this is a team coming off a gold medal from a year ago. Like, this team finished fifth last year. They lost in the quarterfinals. Like, there's nothing about what happened last year that should have inspired this, this level of, like, it feels like incompetency. Like, we're at a point where, they bring back Dave Cameron. They kind of pick this team, in more of a defensive mindset and, stopping goals. Well, guess what? They can't produce goals, and all the players that produce goals in the junior leagues like the OHL and the WHL are sitting at home watching right now. I'm sure they're loving this because after seeing Canada not only lose to Latvia, but then lose to, the biggest rival we've got in the U.S., it's frustrating as a Canadian fan and as a Canadian. So I don't know what's going on. Yeah, like you said, after they lost to Latvia, they canceled practice. okay, fine. Like, you want everyone to take a reset. But then you lose to US, you cancel practice again, and then this morning you cancel morning skate before, your biggest game of the tournament. If they lose today to Czechia, Huss, I don't know. Like, we need an entire revamp because clearly there's something going on from top to bottom where, I don't blame the players for their level of play, but the discipline's been pretty bad as well. And that's what cost them. It cost them in the Latvia game, and it cost them once again in the U.S. game. They can't stay out of the penalty box. International hockey is called a lot different than, the OHL, the NHL, the WHL. And that's something these players got to know. And that's something that coaching has to be like, hey, boys,
and this isn't new.
No, it's always been like this, Us. Always been like this. So I don't know, there's no – I don't know. It's frustrating. And listen, was the World Juniors good when we won every single year and it was like whatever they did 8-10 times in a row? Yeah, it was a blast for us. I'm sure it wasn't a blast for other countries. Other countries are getting their shine now, and all credit to them. Everyone seems to be kind of upping their ability, their talent level, the development that they have in these other countries has seemed to come up. And Canada, seemingly, like, maybe they haven't gone down, but we've kind of just stayed where we're at because of all the successes we had. And it's starting to show that these other countries are clearly, above what they were 10, 12, 15 years ago.
I'm pulling up the the scoring leaders from the tournament. And I did that because I wanted to see how the futures were. I know a lot of people had maybe picked a Canada player or two to lead them in scoring. There's no Canadians in the top 30.
We don't have any goals.
I know. I'm trying to even think of how, like, if we click on Canada, does it bring us up what's going on here? There's stats. Statistics, I believe this is it.
There's the first one. Cowan's got 3 points in 4 games. He's the leader of the team, and there are a zillion players in front of him. Don't stack Chip Young on that, but looks like a zillion.
He is also, it's literally 1 point across the board for just about everybody. And you know what? Your boy Cowan, he might be taking the most heat of anybody online while we're at it.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about, though. Like, you saw the U.S. guy, like, scream at him, like, on that big goal they scored, like, just I don't know if you saw that clip, just screaming right at him. Like, You tell me you don't see that as one of the Canadian players and go, okay, boys, like, this is it. Like, because now you put yourself in a really tough spot. You got to play Czechia. I don't know exactly how the bracket lays out. I wish I had a visual of it that so I could see, but I assume that your next matchup, if you get through Czechia today, which is no guarantee based on the way they've been playing this tournament, it's not going to be an easy matchup. So there's nothing easy the rest of the way here. You got to win 3 games to win a gold medal. And I don't have a lot of faith at this point. Like, I was trying to get up for the U.S. game, especially after the loss to Latvia. Like, I had hope. It's hard to have hope right now with, the way they've been playing, especially the discipline is like one thing you circle where you're just like, the difference maker is a lot of these bad penalties that are just really unnecessary.
Oh,
so I don't know.
It just putting themselves up. By the way, the Germans are tied with the Kazakhs.
Oh yeah.
3-3 right now. Germany and Kazakhstan. Can you imagine if Kazakhstan got through to the semifinal? Wouldn't that be?
No, that's relegation game.
Oh, this is the relegation game. Oh my God, that's right. Holy smokes! So Germany could be eliminated if they don't win this game.
Yeah, I know they used to do a 2 out of 3 relegation. Is it just one game, or is
I
it
believe
still
it's
2
just
out of 3?
one game.
Just
it's
one
a single game. Whoever loses this game is out.
Okay. Yeah, it looks like you're right. Yeah. So this is it. Yeah, 3-3 right now. It's gonna be an interesting one to finish. So
Sweden's up 2-0 on Latvia right now. Here are the other games up right now. 1:30 here, 12:30 in Edmonton. It'll be the Yanks and the Swiss. USA is plus 120 to win by 5. That's the goal line is minus 4.5. They're minus 5,000 on the money line. The Swiss, for their part, plus 1350. Slovakia versus Finland. The Finns are minus 526 on the money line. Slovaks plus 380. Finland is minus 2.5 goal favorites on the spread, plus 101 to get that. And the Slovaks plus 2.5, minus 128. And then the game that this country will be paying attention to, 6:30 tonight. Canada and Czechia. Canada a minus 333 favorite. Czechia plus 255. Canada minus a goal and a half at minus 135. Czechia plus 1.5, plus 111. Total for the game is 6. Jake, let's be real here. This game should be a pick'em. Like, I don't really want to take Czechia because I do think there's a good chance Canada wins. But, I mean, I think this is one of those times where I think that the people that are going to be getting on this game are backing one side, and the odds do not accurately reflect what really is going to be happening. And that's just the nature of the game. I mean, if everyone wants to bet one side, the odds will be tilted in that favor. Canada's done absolutely nothing to be in this tournament to be thought of as a favorite against a Czech team that was right there with the Swedes to potentially win their other group.
Yeah, I'm with you, Huss. I have no interest in, even Canada at minus 1.5. Even if you think they're going to win, like, what makes me believe they're going to win by 2 or more? And you're only getting a minus 135 number. If you're betting anything on this game, maybe you take Czechs plus 1.5. Like, I know empty net definitely plays a factor in this game, but if you think the Czechs have a good chance to upset Canada, which I think they do, I like you said, I don't think they should be plus 255, but that's kind of the way it works when the money's going one way. Maybe, you kind of, it's a happiness hedge almost. You could still win with Canada.
Yeah.
If you have Czech at plus 1.5 and you're getting plus money, plus 111. So
we can't score. We can't score. Like, how are we going to win by a margin against anyone? I mean, to be honest, like, would it surprise anybody if this game went to overtime or to a shootout? And that wouldn't be good for us. But then at least you're able to get through and win. And again, it is plus money, plus 111 on Czechia, plus 1.5. We've got there are some goal scorers and player point numbers for here, but I'll be honest, I'm at a bit of a loss. I mean, it's hard to really look at one guy and go, "Wow, this is the guy that's going to really be getting it done." I mean, I guess Easton Cowan is the most likely to score at plus 134. McKenna's at plus 150. Nadeau plus 159. Ritchie plus 180. Catton plus 205. But this has just been – I have a theory on this team, by the way.
Okay, let's hear it.
I have a theory. And listen, we know everything that's happened at previous World Juniors, the scandals, the lawsuits, the cleaning house of Hockey Canada. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's been an absolute stain on our national program, ended up costing a lot of people their jobs. And now we're moving forward with new management. I cannot help but think, and I mean, I'm only sort of half joking, but not really, that because of the climate around Hockey Canada, when they went to make this team, literally any player with even as much as a minuscule red flag, whether it be for anything off the ice, whether it be, not a good guy. Like, I have a feeling anyone that wasn't basically a choir boy, maybe they moved off. I mean, there has to be an explanation because there are a ton of players that we've heard over and over again. Like, how is this guy not even in the mix for this team? And listen, more important than results is cleaning out this operation and moving forward in a positive note for the country and for the game in our country. But I have to admit, I can't help but think that there were a lot of decisions made based on things outside of hockey for putting this team together. And, unfortunately, at the results side of things, I think we're seeing that right now.
Yeah, that's kind of the nature of what we're dealing with this team and this organization is that, there have been some really bad things that have gone on and it does need to be cleaned up. And so you might be onto something where, anyone with character issues probably were left off this team. I don't know if that's necessarily the right way to do things, but at the same time, like, got to protect yourself after what's gone on up to this point. So, it's an interesting time for Hockey Canada, Huss, and we'll see how this pans out. I mean, listen, this is probably a long shot at this point, but if they go out and win the gold medal, there's not going to be a lot of hate going towards this team anymore. But they got a long path to get there, and it starts today with the game against Czechia.
Listen, they got to find a way to win. They got to find a way to win. And Cowboys says that it could be a Canada-USA rematch coming up. So I guess that's the case because there was the 1-3 on each sides would play if they move through. So it'll be good. Big Maple's got some good mentions of some bonuses, which we'll touch on in a minute. What did you think of the football yesterday? I thought the Texas game was as good as in. And then all of a sudden I go back to my TV. I mean, that fourth quarter was unbelievable. And to be honest, I was really hoping that ASU would have taken care of business on that 4th and 13. Credit to Texas. They dodged a huge bullet and made it through. But ASU, I thought, made a great statement game for the playoff as it is right now. They deserve to be there. And that running back, what the heck's his name?
Yeah, Scatabo.
Scatabo. Oh, I wasn't familiar with him beforehand. Apparently he was top 5 in Heisman voting. Holy smokes. There's a lot of NFL fans that were watching this going, I need my team to get that guy.
Yeah, how exciting would he be? Yeah, listen, Huss, that game was electric. Like, I got home from my, on New Year's Day, and then I got home. It was 24-8 for Texas, and I'm like, they'll probably just clean this up, finish it up. And then all of a sudden, it's like ASU scores. It's 24-16. Texas is struggling to move the ball. ASU gets it back. They score again, and I'm like, what is going on here? So we're like, then we get glued to the TV because the finish was crazy. The Texas kicker misses 2 field goals, which was nuts. Like that was really the difference to send it to overtime. And yeah, obviously at that point I was also cheering for ASU. Texas survives, but not without a bit of drama. And that's what it's all about. I think people weren't thrilled about how the first round of the college football playoff went. The favorites took care of business and won big. And then we haven't even touched on the other game, but another blowout. And the undefeated Oregon gets crushed by Ohio State. And, now I think you and I both kind of had a feeling that we would be on Oregon. It probably is, shows why the number was the way it was. Obviously, The bookmakers knew something we didn't. Ohio State, after that loss to Michigan, seems to be on a path to, like, anyone's getting in our way is getting crushed, and we're winning a national championship. Because, you're never not going to hear it from Michigan fans. But a lot of other fans that were running their mouths about Ohio State won't have a lot to say if this team goes on and wins the Natty.
No, it's that loss to Michigan was so bad and so shocking that it's completely clouded our judgment about OSU moving forward. But I mean, listen, Oregon was the number 1 team going in. They were the only undefeated team. I mean, it was a very disappointing performance by them. I don't think there's any doubt about it, but credit where credit is due. I mean, Ryan Day's Buckeyes were full marks, and it seems like they're just on a mission now. And it's so funny. They could win a national championship. They could absolutely win this. And they'll still be thought of the team that lost to Michigan.
Absolutely.
Again, it's hard to wrap your head around that one regular season game could be bigger than winning the entire thing. That's just the case when it comes to the Buckeyes and the Wolverines. Obviously, just a horrible, horrible incident in New Orleans that cost like 15 people their lives. Very scary situation. So they had to move this game to today. I don't think that will change anything as far as what happens between these clubs when they get out there. Notre Dame, the 1 point favorite, but this basically is a pick 'em. I mean, Notre Dame's minus 112 on the money line. Georgia is minus 109. And, with what's happened with Alabama losing to Michigan and Texas getting pushed right to the edge, we may be overrating this SEC a little bit, and maybe should be thinking more about Notre Dame or these other teams, or not just giving a team like Georgia the benefit of the doubt with a backup quarterback because they're SEC.
Yeah, I tweeted it yesterday. I said the SEC might stink, guys. Like we've seen some bad games here from these teams that are supposed to be like the cream of the crop, in college football. Like you said, that Bama game, ugly. Like losing to Michigan, especially on the year Michigan had, like a down year, not great. And then, Texas almost losing to ASU. Like very, very interesting stuff. People liked ASU for the story, but they weren't necessarily really high on them. They were 12.5-point favorites going into the game and almost lose outright. So yeah, I mean, I had a feeling on Notre Dame kind of when we spoke about it a couple days ago, and obviously now we get a chance to talk a little bit more about it. I think I'm still leaning Notre Dame here. You're playing at money line. There's no sense in playing a spread at this point. Like you said, it's basically a pick 'em. So yeah, I think my play is minus 112 Notre Dame money line. Like you said, the SEC hasn't looked as good as we expected them to look. And like you said, the Georgia quarterbacks played limited snaps. I know they won the SEC championship against Texas, but guess what? Texas might not be as good as we initially thought they were after seeing how they played yesterday. So yeah, listen, I think Kirby Smart's going to get the guys up. It could be a tight game. Like I think Patty's, when I talked to him, he was leaning under in that one. So maybe that's another play. It's 46 right now. I believe it was 45.5 this morning. So I don't know if that makes you shy away or not. But I think it's Notre Dame in the under for me. That's probably how I'll play it. And I'll get ready to go for a 4 p.m. Eastern start here.
For what it's worth, there's a whole whackload of bowl games coming up this weekend. You got Duke, Mississippi in the Gator Bowl. I guess that's tonight. Tomorrow, North Texas and Texas State in the First Responder Bowl. The Duke's Mayo Bowl tomorrow night, Minnesota and Virginia Tech. Minnesota 8.5-point favorites there. The Bahamas Bowl on Saturday between Buffalo and Liberty. Buffalo a 3-point favorite. We do have a line, though, on the college football semi. Ohio State, 6.5-point favorites over Texas. And that's in the Cotton Bowl. I mean, that will be basically a Texas home game, although I'm sure Ohio State fans will try and make a run for it. The Buckeyes right now, the favorite at plus 115 to win. Penn State obviously awaits the winner of tonight's game. Both Georgia and Notre Dame are 7-1 to win the whole thing. Penn State 5-1, Texas plus 330, and Ohio State plus 115. There's the college football roundup as well. So we've touched on the World Juniors. We touched on the NBA. We'll finish up with some hockey. We'll get a ticket for tonight. But let's go over to what Big Maple's firing in. Because we have this is, Jake, the NFL incentive week, where you've got a lot of players that have bonuses that will depend on what they can do this week. And it really does make the player prop market a little more interesting than what we've seen before. Now, the one, I'm not sure whether Big Maple has this one down, but Mike Evans. Mike Evans needs, I want to say it's 93 yards for another 1,000-yard season. I've heard Baker Mayfield speak about it this week. I think Baker wants it even more than Mike Evans does. They're also in a game that they have to win. Now, they're a big favorite on that. I'm just looking right now. The total for Evans is 94.5. I think you pound that. It could I'm not sure whether it gets much higher because it's right there in and around a key number. And I think they've made it 94.5, so he could potentially get it with 94 yards and not hit the over and take him out of the game. But Evans is a big one. Here's a couple of the other ones that Maple threw into the chat. Tony Pollard needs 83 rush yards for 250, 2 touchdowns for another 250. MVS anytime touchdown gives him a $250K bonus. On that team, I don't know if I would be looking at that. Dante Fowler, 1 sack. Zach Ertz, 2 touchdowns for a $250K bonus. Ertz, with that late catch in the last game, hit 3 different $250K bonuses. So he has been done quite well. There's a couple of other ones. Oh yeah, Big Mabel forgot about Evans. You know what? He said problem is Baker being so vocal about it. He's getting blanketed. I mean, what's the difference from any other game? I mean, since Godwin's been out, I mean, it's basically Mike Evans. I mean, Jade McMillan's been good. There's a nice little late fantasy pickup right now. But yeah, it'll be the Evans show. We'll have a couple more. I'll go through some of the ones that I've got, and we'll hit those up tomorrow when we do our NFL Week 18. As far as the games go right now, here's where we're sitting. I mean, there's no more volatile week for line movement than Week 18 as we hear about guys being in, guys being out. This Browns-Ravens game is now 18. Baltimore laying 18 and minus 2,000 on the money line. The Bengals are 1.5-point favorites in Pittsburgh against the Steelers. Those are the 2 Saturday games. What do we have here? The Panthers. The Falcons are 7.5-point favorites at home to the Panthers. You know, even though Atlanta needs to win, Carolina doesn't, Chuba Hubbard's out. That's still a lot of points for a Falcons team that has been, I mean, they've been okay since Penix has gone in, but, you know, haven't been world beaters.
No.
The Commanders, 5.5-point favorites against the Dallas Cowboys. This is a hilarious scenario, and I think I laid this out earlier, but I'll do this again. Eagle fans are in the very strange situation of being Cowboy fans this weekend. If you're an Eagles fan, you want Dallas to win and Washington to lose so that Washington ends up falling to the 7th seed. Because I think you would far rather play Washington than you would the Green Bay Packers. The Packers could be the 7th seed if Washington wins. The 5th seed is going to be either Detroit or Minnesota, whoever loses that game. So something to think about there for that one. The Packers are 10-point favorites against the Bears. The Colts, 4.5-point favorites against the Jags. What a week in Indy, eh? Ever since McAfee went scorched earth on that tweet. The Colts, they are being questioned. And you do wonder how Jim Irsay handles this going forward, because McAfee does have a lot of pull and does care about that team. I mean, Indy is his home. And for him to go out and talk about guys missing meetings and being late, I mean, it sounds like an absolute clown show there right now. And I wasn't thinking a lot about big offseason changes in Indy. I mean, they're kind of one of those teams that, you know, it's easy to forget about. Tell you what, Jake, though, I mean, after the conversations we've heard coming out of that city, what we've heard from some of the players and more about where they're at right now and where you need to be as a winning team, I wouldn't be surprised if there is a massive offseason coming in Indy.
Yeah. It's, you know, it might be a long time coming, you know, and some of the stuff is we don't always find out, you know, as easy as you think we would. But, you know, and as things progress, it's like, okay, like what is really going on? Because this team, like, I mean, by all accounts, a lot of talent. I mean, you know, you're not sure on Anthony Richardson, but we've had, like, how many times have we gone back and forth between Flacco and Richardson this season? And, you know, the tap of the helmet, the tap out of the game for Richardson
Such
at
a
one
tough
point
look.
was ugly. Like, just not pretty in Indy right now. And frankly, Huss, you're in a division that is really not that good. The Titans, you know, I was kind of on it from the start of the season, didn't win a lot of football games. The Jags, another team that, you know, has been a pretty big letdown. And the Texans, obviously, like, they're going to win the division, but by all accounts, a step back from what they did last year with C.J. Stroud. So, you know, their division was very much winnable. The playoffs are very much makeable for the Colts. And it didn't pan out for them. And, you know, it might have a lot to do with organizational issues.
Chris Ballard's under a ton of heat. The coach, the quarterback, everyone under fire there. All right, Bills, Patriots. Bills are 2-point favorites in this game. The Bills don't care about this game. New England cares about it in the fact that they want to lose it. And Jared Mayo was very coy as to how he would go forth, but it certainly seems like he understands the assignment. So New England plus 106 on the money line. Buffalo minus 125, 2-point favorite in Buffalo's favor. And I guess Josh Allen's going to start and play like 3 plays, hand it off a couple times, and then leave to keep his start string going. Josh, take it from a Super Bowl champion quarterback like Patrick Mahomes. That stuff doesn't mean anything. And you know what? If you miss a game because you've clinched first place or you've clinched your playoff spot and you're playing the next week, there's no it doesn't matter. We won't think any less of you if you take the bye. Anyways, I digress. Eagles, Giants. Like yeah, Eagles, Giants. Eagles are 3-point favorites in that game. Would you mention this Tampa Saints game? Tampa's a 13.5-point favorite against New Orleans. New Orleans is so bad right now. And again, Tampa needs to win the NFC South. Can see myself actually laying the points on that one. Houston versus the Titans. Tennessee is a 1.5-point favorite. Niners, Cards. Cardinals 4.5-point favorite. Sounds like a bunch of guys are going to be out this weekend, including Brock Purdy. Carson Wentz goes for the Chiefs. Chiefs 10.5-point underdogs in Denver against the Broncos. Broncos need to win that game to ensure that they're in the postseason. If they lose and Miami wins, Miami's in. If the Broncos lose, Miami loses, and Cincinnati wins, then the Bengals get in. And how wouldn't that be crazy? Burrow versus Allen, first round in the playoffs, 2 versus 7. Be tough for Bills fans. That would be a tough out. Although Cincinnati can't stop anything. I think the over-under in that game would probably be like 70.
That's the thing, right? Like, Cincy, as good as Burrow and those guys have been, like, the defense can't stop a nosebleed. Like, it's Swiss cheese. You're not. I don't think you're necessarily scared. You're scared of the Bengals. You're scared of Joe Burrow and the Bengals, but I think you're still feeling okay if they get in because you're going to put up points. It's just a matter of getting a few stops. I
have to laugh. I have to laugh at people going, "Oh, the Chiefs are worried that the Bengals are going to get in." Listen, the only way the Chiefs would play the Bengals was if they won their first round game.
Yeah, they got to beat the Bills.
With all due respect to Joe Burrow and the Bengals, the Chiefs are a hell of a lot more worried about Buffalo than they are Cincinnati. I'll tell you that.
Oh, in this current moment, for sure.
Yeah, listen, Burrow can come up with a big game. He's been playing at an MVP level all year, and they're 8-8. So
exactly. Exactly.
Anyways, Chargers, Raiders. Chargers look like they're playing to win. They're 4.5-point favorites against their rivals. The Seahawks, 6.5-point favorites against the Rams, who have already clinched the division and look to be resting guys. I do find it weird that the Dolphins, and again, this line probably changes depending on what happens in that Cincy-Pittsburgh game on Saturday. And I guess there's the thought that Tua's hip must be really bad if he's not going to play. Because the Dolphins are only 1-point favorites against the Jets. This could be Aaron Rodgers' final game in the National Football League. But again, there's potentially a playoff spot on the line, although the game would be happening in real time at the same time as the Chiefs-Broncos game. And I was expecting Miami to be a bigger favorite in that game. And then the game that we've all been waiting for. Sunday Night Football. Vikings, Lions, 14-2 versus 14-2 for a spot atop the NFC, a bye next week, and a home field throughout the playoffs. Loser plays next week on the road, likely in Tampa. It is very, very cool the way this season is finished up, and I cannot wait for this game. I think Minnesota at plus 125 and plus 3 may be a little disrespected, but you know what? They've been that way all year long. This does say that this is basically a pick 'em, and we're going to give Detroit the home field advantage. I think it is important to note about the short week, playing on Monday night, the injuries for Detroit. Listen, I've been backing the Vikings all year. I will probably be doing the same thing right now. I thought it might be like 1.5 or 2 as opposed to 3, just with the Monday night game. But Jake, what a freaking awesome way to finish up the regular season.
Yeah, I couldn't ask for better theater, Huss. Like, you look at really this Week 18 schedule, and there's not a lot to play for. Like, a lot of these middle games, we're just going to kind of be watching because, we're football fans. We'll probably have a little bit of coin on the game, and that's fine. But, yeah, to get to Sunday Night Football and get a Vikings-Lions matchup, that means so much for seeding. Like, you couldn't ask for a better spot. And even Saturday, we're getting a pretty good game, and the Bengals-Steelers, both needing wins to kind of to stay alive here. Not that the Steelers are going to miss, but their seeding matters still, I believe, right? And where they are in the standings. So yeah, it's going to be a good finish to the season here. Games that matter is what we're looking for, and it's okay that a lot of these games don't matter because we're going to get big ones. And then guess what? Super Wild Card Weekend. I'm so happy. Like, I know people get mad that there's only one bye in the NFL, but I'm so happy when they went to the 7-team playoff. I think it's a lot of fun, and you just get that extra games that you're getting on the Super Wildcard Weekend just feels so much bigger, and it gives teams a chance that not necessarily would have a chance in the 16 playoff.
Well, and you know what? And I think it really incentivizes winning your conference, and you get the bye on home field. I mean, as opposed to the old way it was 2. By the way, Bronco Nick, shout out. I missed this earlier, Huss. How many starters are going on Sunday for the Chiefs? Well, the starter won't be in the game. Mahomes isn't even going to dress. Mm-hmm. I would think that they will probably keep Hollywood Brown in bubble wrap, Xavier Worthy. I wouldn't expect to see Kelsey do much. On the offensive line, those guys, they'll rotate everybody in. I think those guys will dress. I think you can pretty much safely count on Chris Jones not playing.
Yep.
Other than that, on the defensive side of the football, I mean, if any guys sort of nicked up, they won't go. But this is going to be the B team. Make no mistake about it. So Bronco Nick, I think you're in good shape. I don't anticipate you guys having an issue with the Chiefs this weekend, unless Carson Wentz decides to throw a little magic on there right now.
Carson Wentz throw back to the MVP season that he didn't win MVP, but almost did. The other thing I did notice in the chat, Huss, Timmy Tushu said Notre Dame QB Riley Leonard rushing for a touchdown is even money. He has 17 rushing touchdowns this season. I actually believe that number's moved. When I looked earlier, it was plus 145. So now, yeah, still plus 145 on Coolbet. I don't know where Timmy Tushu's getting his line.
Tim, so give me this again. For tonight's game.
Yeah, this afternoon, the Notre Dame game, Riley Leonard, the quarterback, rushing for a TD, plus 145 at Coolbet. I don't know. Timmy Tushu, I know you're not looking at Coolbet with that even money number.
That's a terrible number. This is a perfect example.
This season. And I do want to say, this was Patty's idea. We have Playoff Lenny's combo card. If you go to the main page, combo cards at the top. Ryan Leonard for the U.S. to score. That game's at 2:30. And Riley Leonard to score a touchdown, boosted from plus 327 to plus 376. So if you want both Leonards to get a score tonight or this afternoon, I guess, that's available for you, boosted in the combo cards.
Love it. Actually, there's some good combo cards. We'll get to those in just a second. I love the tip, Timmy Tushu, and I'm on it. And I'm on it at a much better number than even money. I'm on it at plus 145, which is available. You can still get over to Coolbet, get that number before it inevitably moves. Now that we're onto it here on the Lock Shop. Appreciate the hit, though. So tomorrow we'll make our final best bets for the NFL. We'll probably spend a little more time talking player props based on those incentives that we certainly will. So those are all there. We've gone through it all. Let's get to the NHL slate tonight. What do we got? We got a busy slate. Can you believe there was only one game yesterday?
Yeah, I didn't understand that. Because correct me if I'm wrong, and I don't think I am, but did the Winter Classic not used to play on New Year's Day?
Always.
Right.
They moved it to New Year's Eve. I think they're so spooked out about this new college playoff.
Right. That's
they
what I
thought that
too.
they would just be. But the irony is there was a college football playoff game on New Year's Eve too.
Well, that's the thing too, Huss. The other thing I would say about that is if you're going to play one game on New Year's Day, why not just make it the Winter Classic? It's like, it's the big spectacle. You kind of threw the Winter Classic in on, what was it, Tuesday night at like 5 p.m. Eastern.
13 games.
There was a ton of games going on. So it's like you're just mixing it into the middle of this schedule, and it kind of gets lost in the shuffle where you had a chance. If you're going to play a game yesterday, might as well make it the Winter Classic and, I don't know, start it earlier in the day. I don't know. A little weird to me, but.
All right. We got Detroit and Columbus. Wings -103. Seabus -114. The Panthers -123 favorites at home against the Hurricanes. That'll be a good one tonight. Canes +105. Basically a pick 'em between the Bruins and Rangers. Wild +141 at Washington, who's -167. The Leafs are playing the Islanders again.
Yeah, a little rare, like back-to-back against the Islanders again. We'll see.
They've had this the third game in 2 weeks between these teams. Leafs -112, Islanders -104. No Matthews tonight again?
No. I don't even want to talk. There's been reports that he might not even get over this injury by the end of by playoff time.
This season?
I don't even know what's going on. Yeah, like this season. I don't know what's going on.
Yikes. Dallas -182 at home to the Sens, who are +153. Jets -263 at home to the Ducks. Ducks are +215. By the way, if you like the Jet puck line, it's -104. Utah and Calgary. Utah's -122 on the road in Calgary. Calgary +103. That's a weird line. Buffalo +175, Avalanche -208, Canucks -101, Kraken -116 in Seattle, Vegas -199, Philly +167, and then the Lightning -249 against the San Jose Sharks at +205. Anything jump out at you, Jake, right off the bat?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was a little surprised to see the Leafs only -112, but I know they've been playing Matthews down. I know Tanev took one to the face. I don't know if you saw him spit his tooth out the other night.
What a warrior, man. I love that guy.
Is so fun. So fun. Yeah. I don't know. Sorry, I'm just peeking through here. I mean, I don't mind the Bruins. The Rangers are the biggest dumpster fire in sports right now. It's pretty crazy with what's going on with them. The Bruins haven't been knock you out of the park as of late, but they're still holding on to that third spot right now. Tampa's right on them. I think Tampa has 4 or 5 less games played. So Bruins need all the wins they can get. The Rangers, I don't know. This might be crazy to say. It might be a throwaway season for them when it's all said and done. I don't mind them.
They're 1 point ahead of Buffalo. If Buffalo wins tonight and they were to lose, they'll be dead last in the East.
Bad. So Bruins, I don't mind at -108. Surprised to see the Capitals at such a big number against the Wild, but a team that kind of started hot and we were we'll see when they come back. Capitals just continue to roll. I think they lead the East right now, which is pretty impressive from a team that it felt like the last couple seasons, really since the Stanley Cup, had was on the way down. So I don't know if I can get on a -167. I know it's parlay, but Wild are still a pretty good team. I don't know. Flames, I don't mind at home as a slight dog.
Let's just make sure. Yeah, Eriksson Ek is back. Lindgren is back, or the Gustafsson, I should say, is back, but Fleury's going tonight against Charlie Lindgren. Anyways, I do like that Bruins pick.
Mm-hmm.
The Leafs at -112 is actually not too bad. What about Calgary at plus 103?
I was just about to say Calgary, I don't mind, has a slight dog at home.
Well, that's just such a weird number. Like, I know Vladar's in net against Vejmelka, but Calgary, they've got a pretty good home record right now. Let's see where we are. Calgary. Yeah, Calgary's 13-4-3 at home.
Utah's sliding too. They've lost 5 in a row.
You know what's funny? Yeah, exactly. They've lost 5 in a row. Utah's away record is 11-8-2. They're 5-7-4 at home. They have only 5 wins on home ice. I do like that Vejmelka, but I'm in on Calgary for this one tonight. So if we've got those two in, Bruins and Calgary, gets us to plus 291.
Yeah, that's pretty nice. Like, I think if we had one, maybe a bigger favorite. Like, are there any of those like a Vegas or a Colorado?
What about Lightning?
Yeah, I mean, I don't mind the Lightning either. I think, like, I'd be totally fine with that. Like, like I said, a team that, could absolutely use wins in that division. Like, they have some games in hand on Boston, and, you got to beat teams like San Jose if you want to keep pace with kind of the rest of the Atlantic there.
Yeah, I mean, it gets us to plus 448. I mean, we're probably pushing 5-1 with the boost once it's all said and done. So yeah, why don't we lock that in? Let's go Boston money line, Calgary money line, Tampa money line.
I like it.
And I will try and cook up something for the Jet game tonight that we can put together for WSTers. I'll text you about that. We got a pre-tape. I'll put that together and we can do that in. So if you're with us towards the end of WST, when we get to the Coolbet lines, we'll put together a WST parlay. But as far as the Coolbet, as I said, we finished 2024 with a winner. Let's start off 2025 with the winner. Boston, Calgary, Tampa tonight. Should get it boosted around 5-1.
Yeah, I love it, Huss. And I mean, we got about 10 minutes here. Do we want to touch on some of these specials? We do have some exclusives for the college football playoff game this afternoon.
Yeah, just quickly, let's run through those and then we'll sign off.
Okay, so starting with the combos, we've got a super boost for the World Juniors. This is going to start, it looks like, just about 40 minutes here with the U.S. game. U.S., Finland, Canada, all to win. That's boosted from minus 172 to plus 108. So you're getting plus money on a pretty juicy boost there if you like those 3 teams to win, the 3 favorites this afternoon. Luck of the Irish, Notre Dame and Boston Celtics, both to win today. That's boosted up to plus 222. We have a Go Canada. We had this one the other night for Jets, Oilers, Team Canada. Unfortunately, I think Team Canada, maybe the Jets maybe that was the Colorado game. So tough one there, but the Jets do have a better matchup tonight against the Ducks. I put the Leafs in there. And then Canada again, it's World Junior time. If you're rooting for Canada, you need to see a win today. There's some options there. We got a Lamplighters for the World Juniors as well. That's Gabe Perreault and Gavin McKenna, both to score. And then I already mentioned this one, playoff Lenny's Ryan Leonard to score for the U.S. and Riley Leonard to score an anytime touchdown, which was mentioned by Timmy Tushu in the chat. So those are our combo cards. Head to the main page. We'll also have the Lock Shop partner parlay there as well here, probably in the next 15, 20 minutes when Huss gets to go in on WST. And Patty threw these together for college football. So this one's called For All the Dogs. Stockton, 1+ passing TD. Etienne, anytime TD. And Georgia to win. So there's your Georgia one. Irish Eyes are smiling. We got Leonard, 35+ rush yards. Love, anytime TD. And Notre Dame to win. So 2 similar ones there at the top. Rock Pounders is Trevor Etienne and Jeremiah Love, both to record 90+ rush yards. Leo Season, Riley Leonard, 2+ pass TDs and anytime TD, and Notre Dame to win. That's plus 725, pretty juicy. And then our Patriot parlay, we do this for the NFL as well, but it's Love, Etienne, and Frazier all to score a touchdown plus 775. I did say already I do like the under there in the college football playoff. I'm on it with Patty. And I'm probably playing Notre Dame money line as well. I know he won't do that. He doesn't bet on his team, but I'll be happy to do it for him.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm going to roll Notre Dame tonight, and I'm already in at plus 145 on the Riley Leonard touchdown. Shout out to Timmy Two Shoes. Get to Coolbet for the best line. It should be fun. As I said, we'll get a WST parlay a little later on. over in the exclusives as well for you Jet fans that want to be backing the team at something other than a minus 263 money line. And then tomorrow should have the three-man weave. Myself, Jake, and Pat will do our favorite bets for the weekend in the National Football League. One more time, we'll focus in on this Detroit-Minnesota game on Sunday night for NFC superiority and home field and a bye, and everything else heading into the weekend. Jake, enjoy Canada, Czechia. Enjoy Notre Dame, Georgia tonight. And,
Leafs as well, Huss.
Yeah. Hey, listen, it's all good. I've got a little action on these games now as well. And I think I will do the Czechia plus 1.5.
Yeah,
so
I think that's the play.
Canada
it's a
can win.
hedge.
Exactly. Canada can win by 1. And then I do worry about another matchup with the States. But listen, let's get there first and figure out a way to do it. Folks, Happy New Year again. Shout out to everybody in chat. I love it. We will be back tomorrow. Keep the the chat was hot today. That's the way we wanted to get started right there in 2025. And of course, Dusty will be back on Monday as we get back to a regularly scheduled programming here on EST. Shout out to everyone listening on the stream. Great to have everyone with us here on YouTube. Jake, Happy New Year to you. Enjoy the games tonight. And folks, we'll see you tomorrow with our final regular season NFL lock shop of the year. Have a good one.
Happy New Year, Huss.